Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel once again, and welcome back to the Labyrinth. So, of course, if this is your first time, your first episode of Dixie Says for Labyrinth, welcome, but if you're returning, welcome back. If this is your first time though, what I do here, for the most part, with some exceptions, is I read poetry. I read poetry, normally 3 written by myself and 2 written from other poets. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So this first poem is called Glass Houses. There's an old saying, those who live in glass houses should not throw stone. But what if the stone is liberation, freeing me from my glass house prison, to see the outside and the freedom that I seek? So kind of taking the idea of the glass house and kind of turning it on its head, at least for the sake of this poem. Now, obviously, the phrase, those who live in glass houses should not throw stones, means if you throw a glass house, or if you throw a stone while you're in a glass house, it's gonna break. Unless you got really, really, really strong glass, but otherwise, if you throw a stone through it, the house is gonna break. It's gonna tumble in on itself. But I kind of flipped it on its head and kind of said, what if the glass house was a prison, holding me back, where I can see the freedom and see the outside world, but can't quite experience it because I am trapped inside the glass house. So kind of playing with that idea, kind of flipping it on its head, like I said, a little bit within the confines of the poem. So this next one is called Decoys. So many decoys. Fiction presented as facts to distract from the truth. Destroy all of them to find the truth, but it may take too long. Seek the truth and ignore the decoys, but that may take too long. Where does reality exist in a world full of decoys? And of course, I'm not gonna be one of those people that's like, oh, fake news is everywhere. Some things are reality, but some things are fiction, and sometimes in this world of ours, it can be tough to differentiate between the two. So kind of exploring that idea, what's fact and what's fiction, and do you seek the truth? Do you try to ignore the decoys and go after the truth? That may take a while because you don't really know what's fact and fiction. Or do you destroy all the decoys? But that may take too long because you're busy destroying the decoys instead of going after the truth. So where does it look? So what exactly do you do? What course of action do you take? Do you try your best to overcome the decoys and destroy them and let reality in, or do you try your best to ignore them? So kind of exploring that concept there, I feel like that poem is doing. And then this next one is called Home. Home isn't a building, it's a foundation of love. Home isn't walls or a roof, it's shelter. Home isn't a furnace or heating, it's the warmth in your heart. Home isn't plumbing, it's tears being shed and mended. Home isn't light bulbs, it's the beauty of family illuminating. Home isn't a building, because it's so much more than that. A house is where your body is. Home is where your heart is. So, another very old saying, a house is not a home. Essentially exploring that idea as well. I show like the physical components of a house, heating, walls, structure, roof, stuff like that. But the actual home, that feeling of home, that feeling of comfort and relaxation, that I'm home feeling, really comes with family, being with loved ones, finding peace and tranquility. So showing the house aspects mixed with the home aspects. It's because a house truly is not a home. You can make it a home, but it's made a home by you, essentially, and those you live with, your friends and family. For all intents and purposes, we essentially have houses, but the houses turn into homes. I'm in a house right now, but it can turn into a home. For some people, they sadly do not have a house to stay in. Which those who are homeless, I am of course praying for them as the weather is getting colder and stuff. But yeah, so house is the physical building. A home is more so what you make of it. It's more a state of mind, a mental thing, if you will. Well, a home is more or so a feeling, if you will, that feeling of peace and tranquility, and that feeling of community and family, if that makes any sense. So this next one is called Ocean of Earth, and this is by Gulliame Apollinaire, and my apologies if I mispronounced that, but it's translated by Ron Paget. And of course, as always, if I mispronounce any of these names, I do apologize. To G.D. Cherico. Oh, so it's dedicated to this person. But I have built a house in the middle of the ocean. Its windows are the rivers flowing from my eyes. Octopi are crawling all over where the walls are. Hear their triple hearts beat and their beaks peck against the window panes. House of dampness, house of burning. Season's fastness, season's singing. The airplanes are laying eggs. Watch out for the dropping of the anchor. Watch out, hoped for the shooting black ichor. It would be good if you were to come from the sky. The sky's honeysuckle is climbing. The earthly octopi are throbbing. And so very many of us have become our own grave diggers. Pale octopi of the chalky waves, octopi with pale beaks. Around the house is this ocean that you know well and is never still. Essentially, speaking of Holmes, essentially, what Ymir, I believe that might be how it's pronounced, is, Gulliame. What he's describing here is this house in the middle of the ocean, but it's surrounded by octopi, the plural form of octopus. Yes, of course, or it might be the other way around. I forget exactly which one is which, whether octopi is the plural or octopus is the plural. But yes. So, having this house in the middle of the ocean, this is bound to happen. Sea creatures are attacking the home, or at least latching on onto the home. But there is quite a bit happening here. His house in the middle of the ocean, saying the house is made of tears. So if the tears are flowing, then it causes the river. So the exact line is, its windows are the rivers flowing from my eyes. So essentially, the ocean is being created. In a way, I feel like, again, this is kind of my interpretation of it. It's almost a little too confusing, but I think my interpretation of it is that with all this going on, the octopi may be the people latching on to the house, the people who trying to get in, because of course, but the rivers and the ocean surrounding the home begats the octopi. So almost the narrator here, whether it's Gulliame himself, or potentially just a narrator, or almost a victim of his own design and of his own actions. And that's kind of what I'm getting out of it. But let me know what you guys think. It's a very interesting poem, and even though the meaning, I'm not 100% sure if that is the meaning. That's the beautiful thing about poetry, is that it can often be interpreted in a variety of different ways, even if that's not necessarily how the author interpreted for the poem to be. But doing some digging on Gulliame, not only did he actually coin the term of Cubism, the art movement, and of people, artists such as Pablo Picasso, but also served as a I forget what type of officer, but served as an officer in World War One, and so I imagine, and showing the airplane, and I think the line, the airplanes are laying eggs, watch out for the dropping of the anchor, as well as a lot of the stuff going on could also be related to wartime. Perhaps the war is tying into this poem here. But that's kind of how I'm interpreting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But very interesting poem. And this last one is called In the House by the Sea, and this is by Stacie Cassarino. I admired the sea most days, but not the heirs or millionaires, sailing in stiff-capped winds, buttoned for summer. After all, we were the spectacle, two women, touching in all the wrong places, furnishing rooms with no children, in the hull of a house gone still. She had some guns, a half-missing finger, an eye that pointed. Sometimes you need to be shot, she'd say. I hardly remember her name, how the sky came in obliquely through the window, how the skiffs were a study in silence, how I hid my body in a bathtub. What she meant was sometimes you're hard to love. And that one night, I swore she was coming for me. I just turned over and took it. And beyond the blindless room, a wildness. It's too foreign to name. Tomatoes tied and splitting in the heat. Couples sipping the wealth of bivalves, or bivalves, I believe. Bivalves. Salt of the sound with open lips. The gnarl of some animal, cocked and on the mark. In the distance of a lighthouse, haunting whatever darkness was never ours to begin with. I didn't fully intend to have two body of water related poems for my other poet poems in here, but this one is interesting as well. This one more in the flashback territory. But there is quite a bit going on. So, we see the relationship. Either Stacie herself or the narrator are talking about this other woman, and that she's staying with, that from the sounds of the poem was in a relationship with, is staying with her, and pretty much her experience in that home by the sea, in that house by the sea. He pretty much a lot going on, but it sounded like something bad happened. Something traumatic may have happened, and in the line, and the one night I swore she was coming for me, I just turned over and took it. It does sound like something bad happened, and the woman may have attacked her. Something went on. So pretty much showing the memories of the sea, and which is why he get a lot of references to it. It's such as the summer and the winds and the bivalves, which bivalves are a type of I believe a type of clam, if I'm not mistaken, or similar to a clam or oyster. And the only reason I remember that is because of that one SpongeBob episode, Rockabye Bivalve, where they took care of the where SpongeBob and Patrick took care of the clam, or oyster, so recounting the events there, and showing that it does mean a decent amount. This is a very significant event that happened within her life. I was trying to look it up, but it looks like the page might have froze. My Chrome is acting slow, which they unveiled the new layout for it, which is interesting. The new layout, but pretty much recounting what happened So it says the bivalves are a highly successful class of invertebrates found in aquatic habitats throughout the world, and it says bivalvia in previous centuries referred to as I'm not going to pronounce those words, but is a class of marine and freshwater mollusks that have really compressed bodies enclosed by a shell consisting of two hinged parts. So, pretty much like an oyster. And now you know what a bivalve is. But so recounting what happened in that incident and the woman that she was with at the time. So pretty much recounting what happened, and almost toward the end. And almost in it says haunting whatever darkness was never ours to begin with, almost in a state of limbo as a result of what happened. But that's kind of what I'm getting out of it. Let me know what you guys think. But some very interesting poems this time around. But that, I think, is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the poems and your reaction to them and your analysis of them. Do you agree or disagree with my analysis of them? And let me know what yours is, and let me know if you enjoyed the poems as well. And of course, as always, if you have any poetry recommendations, either send them to me, pretty much however you can get a hold of me, whether it's through messages, whether you DM me or inbox me, across social medias. We do have multiple social medias across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. At the Nigelverse, follow those. Those are in the link tree. But also, I get all my poems, most if not all my poems, come from the poetryfoundation.org. So go check them out. Their link is in the description. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.